Hi guys, it's Dr. Lena Rodriguez here, supposedly from summer in Australia, where half the country's having unprecedented heat waves, and the other part, where I am, I'm in my polar bear outfit. What is that? Well, it's climate change, isn't it? And look, before I even get started on today's topics, there was that pathetic little agreement that came out of the COP28 on climate change, where they said on the last day, weasel words, that we should start to think about moving away from fossil fuels. Well, darling, it's 30 years too late for that conversation, and you're doing nothing now. None of those 28 countries are going to do a thing. They've just been parked up in five-star hotels, carrying on about this issue, and they will then fly back first class, no doubt, to the countries of origin and do nothing. In the tradition, where's Greta Thunberg when you need her? But it shouldn't be left to one 19-year-old to save the world, really. We're all dragging the chain. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but you know what I mean. And we are a big coal producing nation. Australians don't want to hear la, 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 Don't start me on that. Okay. Not long ago, a few hours perhaps, Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor, well, at least when he wasn't a bagman for the Russians and trying to sabotage elections, he's just got the settlement handed down for the workers, Ruby Freeman and Shane Moss, 148 million he owes them. Now, that sounds good, but will he pay it? Can he pay it? What's going to happen with Rudy? Oh, please, God, he's not going to appeal this. I'm sorry, we'll all be in Zimmer frames by the time these legal things play out. Rudy Giuliani's 148 mil. I don't know that he's got that many friends left, Rudy, either. Will the women get the money? Let's have a look. It's amazing how these guys spend their lives being really rich until they owe child support, or there's a divorce, or there's a settlement for libel, and then they've got nothing. Oh, whoops, I've lost all my money. Sick of it. Oh, King of Pentacles, say no more. All right, look, okay, let's break this down. Exactly as I was just saying, this was Rudy all his adult life, with the Cuban cigars and the most expensive lunches and dinners in the world, dripping in influence, real estate, jewels, had the lot. Now, not so much. He's in the wars, we know this, right? But he's not going to get away with nothing. So he can manipulate all he likes, but he's on unsteady ground. It will be upheld. It's the end game, the world here. It's the end game for Rudy, the end of this huge cycle of comparative success. And I'm pleased with this as an outcome card. Slow and steady. This would indicate to me the women will get something, but it'll be in dribbles. So, if he sells his apartment and there'll be several million here and several million there. It might even be possible, I don't know if they do it in the States, but in Australia, in this sort of scenario, the court can order a garnishee on future earnings. So if he earns money somewhere else, it should go back to this fund for the women. So I think these days are over, and I would say they'll get money in dribs and drabs. It'll dribble in. But maybe they just want their lives back. I mean, we always think, oh, money makes everything all right. They certainly deserve the money, but I'm not getting a huge amount of money from this card. Okay, so now we've got the fascinating case of Alina Habba. You know, she's the totally inadequate lawyer for Trump. And have you caught up with this story? A woman who worked Bedminster, New Jersey, complained about continual sexual harassment, had a lawyer, was just about to go to court, and Alina Habba was sent forth, and she befriended her and said, no, get rid of your lawyer. I'm your friend now, you and me, you know. And so just sign this. Don't look at it, just sign it. And we'll give you 15,000 and no, you can't talk about it ever. Now, this crossed a lot of legal lines because she was representing Bedminster, and this was flagrant, and there's talk of her losing her law license. Well, really, it's a miracle she had one in the first place, but she should. But Jenna Ellis, remember Jenna, I'm a Christian, so I can't have done anything too wrong, Ellis. Now there's 3 former governors of Massachusetts and other places who want her to be disbarred. So I'll leave Alina Habba there, and I want to know whether Jenna Ellis will lose her law license. Is there any justice in the world? Because it doesn't matter to Sidney Powell, who's my age, right? It does matter to Jenna Ellis, who's a baby lawyer. So will she lose her license? Jenna Ellis. It's only an insurrection. I didn't know. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, look at that. 1, 2, 3 major arcana. I think she'll be very lucky if she keeps her license. I really do. At the moment, she's confused because I think she's actually I think she's just actually confused because she sort of bought the whole story, lock, stock, and barrel. And then she had her moment of fame, remember? You know, in the courtroom. Oh, whoops, I'm meant to be crying. Do I look good from this angle? She's very confused, young woman. But here come the Hierophant, Law and Order, the Fool. I'm sorry, the old story, ignorance is not a legal defense. And Judgment. I think she'll lose her license. I do. Well, we will see. Okay. Now, let's get to the big guns with Jack Smith. Apex predator Jack Smith. Right. Okay. Now, I'm sure you're all aware it's a big gamble, really, but what he's done is take this straight to the High Court. He's sick of all this argy-bargy. For people new to this channel, argy-bargy is English Australian slang for pointless confrontation, just keeping things going, nothing getting sorted. And he could put a brilliant case together for all this, and then the Yeti would take it to the High Court anyway, saying presidential privilege. So it's either very smart or a gigantic gamble to force the Supreme Court to give an opinion on this. So it's a gamble because we know Clarence Thomas and some of the others are bought and sold. Entertainment purposes only, YouTube. So it's not a case that you've just got the best and brightest in the land who are capable of putting aside any political opinions and just acting in the best interest of the country. That would be folly. Those days have gone. So it's a risk. I'm actually super nervous, I have to confess, about this. I can see why he's doing it. Because the question is not that he won't be found guilty. He will. They've now got the phone as well. He will be found guilty. That's not, and particularly with the docs, right? That's the easiest case to prosecute in the entire world because the man went on every microphone he could summon up and said, I did it because they were mine. You know, he just admitted to everything. So the issue is not that. Will the Supreme Court defend America? This way, wait, I have to get my question right here. Will the Supreme Court find in favour of Jack Smith? Because otherwise, forget a presidency, he's just another mad king. You know, and that's my problem with royalty, is half of them are absolutely crazy. So will the Supreme Court back Jack Smith and America? Oops. Will the Supreme Court back? Oh, let's see. I'm scared to look. Mm. It's a bit tricky. They're all small cards. I was hoping for big, decisive cards. Yes, of course, we'll defend America against a wannabe monarch, you know, like, but they're not. So this is coming to a sort of compromise about it. This says to me weasel words. Okay. There will be a discussion about it, but this is a page bringing a message. And pages are young, pages are youthful, pages are not sophisticated. It's sort of indicating to me the argument they are going to have behind closed doors about this is quite puerile, quite infantile. Okay. Ace of Pentacles, Fool's Gold. Like, I think this is more about the reputation of the Supreme Court has been radically tarnished. It used to be revered globally as this bastion of justice. Fool's gold. There will be juggling and manipulation, but this is the card that worries me, walking away. They might actually refuse at the last minute to do it, to actually hear it or something, because they are such gutless wonders. It's just quite pathetic. I mean, this is a really big question. And look at these cards. You know, they're baby cards, just baby cards. Ooh, I'm so disappointed I can't begin to tell you. Now, as you all know, as in so many things, I'd love to be wrong. And they might come out with a decisive judgment that perhaps America is still a republic and a democratic republic. Wouldn't that be awesome? But we can't expect too much. It's only the Supreme Court. Oh, the Queen of Snark is back. Okay, so Matt Gaetz. Now, one of the world's most repulsive men in any era, spoilt little rich boy. That's the thing that gets to him most. And I think a lot of even GOPers in Congress realise that's his Achilles heel. Yeah, it's all right for you spending daddy's money, you know. So he's another one who's never spent an hour and a half in the real world. I'm sorry, you shouldn't be able to govern unless you've actually gone to work at a job you got yourself with no power and influence and actually achieve that goal, you know? Anyway, he's in trouble. And the problem is that the mad, the bad, and the uglies of MAGA hate Matt Gaetz now. And I can't even be bothered remembering why, but they do. So he's going before the ethics committee. They can't afford to lose another congressman. But it's interesting they're even doing this. And the charges are illicit drug use, sexual misconduct, and misuse of campaign funds. I think one of the problems he's got apparently has a reputation for showing you, me, and anyone else who's in his orbit porn movies of himself having had Viagra and sports drinks and letting loose. Like you want to go to work in the hallowed halls and see that. So I think he's overstepped the mark, but look, let's see. I'd be astonished if they actually take him all the way. But let's see. What will the ethics committee do with Matt Gaetz? Fancy the ethics committee looking at ethics. Goodness knows. Oh, let's see. Matt Gaetz and the ethics committee. Well, they've got a plan. Oh, look, I shuffle and shuffle, 78 cards in the deck. This has come up for everyone. This Two of Pentacles. And it's come up for everyone because of what it means. And it means different things, but they all sort of apply here. This is trying to balance on uneven waters. And so for MAGA and the GOP generally, they're trying to keep the balls in the air, and it's not easy because they've got an unstable footing. But here they are. This is them strategically trying to get him out. However, the magician, this could be Matt Gaetz. You know, he might be able to get out of this. But in general terms, the magician is about transformation, manifestation. So he might be able to sort of manifest some sort of defense, or at least break down the votes a bit. Queen of Pentacles. This is a woman who's got him in her crosshairs. And this is about the money. I think the campaign funds. That testimony could be quite damning. Now, because they must be reluctant, just statistically, to want to get rid of another one, here's something he's not happy with. I think he might be censored or something like that, or censured, you know, smacked, you know, a little tiny smack on the calf, nothing meaningful. But he won't be happy with it. Yeah. But we will have to wait and see. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture for a minute. You know, I've been moaning for 5 years, and it's the same here in Australia, but particularly in America in the Yeti era. And so, where is the outrage? Where are the protests, you know? And I was watching MSNBC recently, and he's a very good commentator. What's his name? Bear with me. Oh, yeah. Anand Giridharadas. I hope I'm pronouncing that remotely right. And he was saying we need a pro-democracy movement right now in America for the whole of 2024 that is a broad church, let's not use the word church. Let's use umbrella. So a broad umbrella that people who just are very worried about the state of American democracy can all find a home under this umbrella. So he was talking about the lack of infrastructure, but there are people with different skills, and that this movement should cross race, gender, age, should have people who are willing to answer other people's questions. There might be independents or even some disenchanted Republicans who want to know what's going on and to put the Dem message out more broadly, but to put it in terms of I'm for democracy. Okay, we can argue about the fine print. So I think that's a call that's going out there. Okay, so to finish today, let me just check. I'm going to pull a few cards just for you guys, intrepid viewers. Another thing, I digress again. The New York Court of Appeals has upheld the redistricting, which will hand more seats theoretically to the Dems, because it had been redistricted, in many unfair ways. So that could help. So that's something. Okay, now let's have a look for you guys, intrepid viewers. Let's say over the next few weeks, it's not called the silly season for nothing, is it really? Okay. Oops, what fell out? Oh, cute. Okay. All right. Let's see what's happening here. Okay. I think this is coming with a word of warning. Here's the thing. Because you'll be interacting with family over the next few weeks, regardless of your religious persuasion, either because it's Hanukkah or Christmas, or you're just taking advantage of the time of year, there's going to be issues. And in this case, I think this is with close family members or relatives, partners, friends of friends who are chained to the devil, meaning they're mad magophiles or whatever. And it's going to be very confusing how to handle them. So it's almost like you need a strategy in advance for how to handle them. Now, they're going to come at you with this emperor energy. I'm right and you're not. And that's the end of that conversation, right? Because they're convinced, they're convinced of this stuff. I don't know how, but they are, and they actually think Trump's going to get back in and he's going to build a wall, do all the things he didn't do before, and how the stone thrown. So I think this is specifically to do with complex family dynamics. Now, often this is the false knight in our political readings. Thank you, Johnny. But I'm taking it back to its traditional meaning. I'm asking that you really prepare and rise above it. This is a message of love and gentleness. And you might really want to kick them in the shins and push their face into the pudding, but resist, my loves. Rise above it. And this will confuse the hell out of them. Suggest it's about love, not hate. Simple message, so hard to convey. And I think it's a message of kindness generally too, because it's tempting to spend money. People even get into debt over Christmas. I can't cope with that. Think of real things of kindness in terms of doing something nice for someone. It might be a woman getting off a bus with a pram, you help her get off. It could be the simplest of things. You could carry a little sealed food package if you're in an area where you know there's a lot of homeless, take a few there, or you could volunteer, to feed the homeless for a day, or whatever rocks your boat. What is the thing that makes you feel a bit better? Might be something totally different. It might be taking in a stray puppy, But kindness is what this message is about. Don't get stuck on the stone throne, says she from her stone throne. I must be nicer. Okay. Love you guys and speak to you soon. I'm working right through Christmas and New Year. So if you want a reading, get in touch because I'm happy to be distracted over this time. Okay, guys, lots of love. And tomorrow, Saturday Night Live with Hogarth and Lady G on Hogarth's channel, 7 p.m. New York time. See ya.